Hey lovelies, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to dive into a topic that many of us deal with, but few are willing to discuss openly: brutally honest relationship advice. Relationships can be some of the most rewarding experiences in our lives, but they can also be incredibly challenging. So let's get right into it and explore some hard truths that can help you build stronger, healthier connections with your partner. So grab a drink, settle in, and let's get started. First off, let's talk about communication. This may sound cliche, but the truth is that communication is the backbone of any successful relationship. Many people shy away from difficult conversations because they fear conflict or worry about hurting their partner's feelings. But here's the brutal truth. Avoiding these conversations often leads to resentment and misunderstandings. Make it a habit to check in with your partner regularly. Ask open-ended questions about their feelings, needs, and concerns. When you need to discuss sensitive topics, approach the conversation with empathy, but don't sugarcoat your feelings. Be direct and honest. It's better to address issues head on than to let them fester. For example, if something is bothering you, rather than waiting for the perfect moment, bring it up gently but firmly. You can say, "I've been feeling a bit uneasy about blah blah. Can we talk about it?" This encourages open dialogue and sets the stage for a more honest and productive conversation. Next, let's address a hard pill to swallow. You are not always right. Sorry to break it to you. In the heat of an argument, it's easy to dig in your heels and insist on your perspective. But here's the brutal truth. Being right isn't as important as being happy. Relationships require compromise, and that means sometimes letting go of the need to win an argument. Practice active listening. When your partner shares their perspective, take a step back and really listen. Instead of formulating your rebuttal, ask questions to understand their viewpoint better. This not only shows respect, but can also lead to more productive discussions. For instance, if your partner expresses frustration about how you handle chores, instead of getting defensive, try saying, "I hear you. Can you help me understand what specifically bothers you about how I handle this?" This opens the door for constructive dialogue, rather than escalating the conflict. Now, let's tackle another hard truth. Love isn't always enough. Many people believe that love will conquer all obstacles, but that's simply not the case. Relationships require effort, commitment, and sometimes tough decisions. Love can fade if you don't nurture it, and if you're not willing to put in the work, it may not survive. Regularly invest time in your relationship. Schedule date nights, explore new activities together, or simply spend quality time talking. Treat your relationship like a garden that needs care and attention. If you neglect it, it won't flourish. For example, you might set aside one evening each week specifically for each other. No phones, no distractions, just quality time. You might be surprised how much this simple act can revitalize your connection. Another crucial aspect of healthy relationships is understanding that boundaries do matter. It's easy to lose ourselves in a relationship and compromise our own needs, but that's a recipe for resentment. The brutal truth is that if you don't set and communicate your boundaries, you can't expect your partner to know them. Have an open discussion about boundaries early in the relationship. Talk about what you're comfortable with, what you need, and what you don't tolerate. This clearly helps both partners feel safe and respected. For instance, if you need alone time to recharge, communicate that clearly. You could say, "I love spending time with you, but I also need some time alone to recharge. Can we schedule that in?" This sets positive tones for respecting each other's needs. Let's talk about the importance of self-love, my favorite. It's tempting to rely on your partners for validation and happiness, but here's the brutal truth. You are responsible for your own happiness. If you don't love and respect yourself, it's challenging to have a healthy relationship with someone else. Take time to invest in yourself. Pursue your interests, set personal goals, and practice self-care. When you bring your best self to the relationship, it benefits both you and your partner. Think about doing something you love, like painting, hiking, or reading. Make that a priority in your life. When you feel fulfilled personally, you'll bring that positive energy into your relationship. Now, let's discuss the concept of vulnerability. It can be scary to open up to someone, but here's the brutal truth. Vulnerability is actually a strength. When you share your fears, dreams, and insecurities with your partner, you create a cheaper emotional connection. When I say cheaper, I mean you may not have to pay for counseling. You create that vulnerability, which goes both ways, and it requires trust. It's important to choose the right moments to share and do so with someone who has shown they can handle that responsibility. For instance, instead of just discussing your day, share a fear you have about the future. You could say, I'm feeling anxious about my job stability and wanted to share that with you. This not only fosters intimacy, but also allows your partner to offer support. Let's also touch on the importance of keeping the romance alive. It's easy to fall into a routine and let the spark fade over time. The brutal truth is that romance requires effort. Making a conscious effort to surprise your partner with small gestures. It could be as simple as leaving a sweet note or planning a surprise date. These moments remind each other of the love you share. For instance, if you know your partner has a favorite dessert, pick up some on your way home. Little things can make a big difference in maintaining that romantic connection. Another important point is that you cannot change your partner. Many people enter relationships hoping to fix their partner's flaws. But here's the brutal truth. You cannot change someone else. They have to want to change themselves. Focus on accepting your partner for who they are, including their imperfections. If there are qualities that truly bother you, it's essential to communicate those feelings honestly. For example, if your partner tends to be forgetful, rather than trying to change them, you might say, I appreciate your spontaneity, but it would mean a lot to me if we could set reminders for our plans. This approach focuses on your feelings rather than blaming them for their behavior. Let's not forget about the importance of having separate interests and friendships. The brutal truth is that while it's great to share hobbies and experiences, having your own interests is equally vital. Encourage each other to pursue individual passions. This not only keeps you both fulfilled, but also brings fresh energy into the relationship. You might say, I'd love for you to spend some time with your friends this weekend, while I have some me time. We can catch up later. This promotes independence and strengthens your bond. So as I wrap it up, let's remember that relationships take work, honesty, and willingness to grow together. Embrace the brutal truths we discussed today and use them as a tool to strengthen your bond. Please communicate openly. Accept that you're always not right. Understand that love requires effort. Set your boundaries. Prioritize self-love. Be vulnerable. Keep the romance alive. And remember that you cannot change your partner. Thank you for joining me today. If you found this advice helpful, please like, share, and subscribe for more content on building healthier relationships. I'd love to hear your thoughts. What's the most brutal, honest relationship advice you received? Share in the comments below. Until next time, take care and keep loving fiercely. Bye.